The UK has a new tallest and fastest roller coaster, Hyperia, opening the 24th of May at Thorpe Park, featuring a new world's first element, well, whatever the hell this thing is. And since I love building huge roller coasters out of K'NEX, I think you know where this is heading. So one of the first things that I'm actually doing for Hyperia is actually spraying the cross tie white and gold. And yes, I am doing this before I've even finished my previous project, Hyperion. So I've literally just started and I've got maybe about 30 cross ties or so painted so far. They look alright. They're definitely not perfect. There's definitely some areas where the paint hasn't stuck too well. But I picked up about 3 cans of gold, and then I also picked up this papyrus white, which is the exact colour that the white section is going to be on Hyperia in real life. And of course I did a little tester and it looks pretty good. So let's crack on with spraying these cross ties so I can do a nice gold and white track. We need to set up the project, and that is because for Hyperia it is compact enough that we can actually project an image of the plan to the wall, trace around it, take the projector away, and then follow that curvature exactly so that we can get the profiling and the shape just right for this recreation. And of course, as you can see, there is a ton of examples of the coaster. I'm probably going to pick something similar to this so it stands out when I'm like painting the lines on the wall. Ignore me using my medication boxes for propping up the thing in the vertical position. I've started the outline, it's going well, but as you can see I've had to put it lengthways so that we can get the height, because unfortunately this projector isn't a wide enough screen for me to film, like, you know, my entire wall, but we're working with it. I've already managed to get the bottom of the drop here and the non-inverting Immelman, and then I've just started the stool dive, and then I've obviously got this bit which is the lift going all the way up. So we have officially started the Hyperia recreation. The first official piece of track is in place. This is the brake run, mid-course brake run technically, but it's meant to mimic a splashdown. And I think the next part that we will work on is this sort of complicated structure back here, where both the dive stool and the non-inverting Immelman go into. Oh, this thing's gonna look so good once you actually get like the full flow from the white into the gold over the whole project. I'm gonna have to do the whole thing like this. Spoiler alert, I didn't spray the supports. Turns out 12 cans of spray paint will only get you the track sprayed. I've got the bottom of the drop in place now, and it goes behind the stool dive. And yes, I had to use some orange rods because I ran out of the others. All of my pieces were in Hyperia. But now that we have parts again, we can continue. So before I can put this support here into place to support sort of, you know, the top of the non-inverting Immelman, what we need to do is we need to build this sort of triangular support here that supports the drop side of that non-inverting Immelman. And to do that, I need to build the sort of bottom valley section here, which takes you from this non-inverting Immelman over to the outer bank turn. Alrighty, so I've managed to get the complete bottom of the drop done, and I've added the spine on. And then obviously from the plans, you can see there's this like double V-shaped one, which I've added here. So then now the next connection point for this like spine part here is going to be this like box section here. Okay, so to make sure that I know exactly where I've got to place these main sort of lift hill and drop supports, I need to make sure that there's enough space for the coaster to go basically round the non-inverting Immelman and then underneath that structure, and it sort of threads through. Once it comes down, it sort of threads through directly in between this track and this support, like directly through the middle. Oh yes, this thing is looking insane. I can't even fit it all in one frame. Like, I have to move the camera just to fit it in. I mean, this really gets you the good angle. This is another good shot. You can really see that it doesn't fully go upside down because it's meant to be obviously a non-inverting Immelman. So one of my viewers actually said if they could design my next train for my next project, and this was a while ago, but this is what they did. It's pretty good, you know? The seats look nice, the restraints look nice. The first thing you'll notice is that it is an overall, you know, a smaller train that I've, you know, changed it into. I've kept the seats and I've kept the base, but I've changed the sizing. So I've made it much shorter, just to make it a bit more compact on the track, and I've also made it a bit skinnier. And I actually did a small little test print with the seats. You can definitely tell that, yeah, they need to be resin printed. I mean, mostly it printed okay, but it's just the bars. You see the actual bars on the side? Yeah, it's a bit ugly, so it definitely needs to be resin printed just for those bars. There we go, it's now off printing. You can see it printing that brim just to help it stick down. I'll get back to you once it's finished. Hey, a little bit more work on the train here. So I've printed out a little test piece, and everything seems to line up nicely. Screws go in nicely, they're well hidden away, sunken away, so they don't interfere with any of the other parts. But yeah, works really well. And then the resin printed seats arrived, so let's unbox them and take a look. Damn, look at those. Oh, they're looking so good. Oh, look at the first test fit for the new seats. Oh, they're looking great. The little Y connectors as well for the stands. Oh, looks just like a Mack Rides Hyper train. Of course, I haven't done the front yet, the Zero car. I've got to print one. I'm just waiting to see what the actual Hyperia one looks like so I can design it the same. This train's definitely going to be my favourite train of all time. I mean, look how good it looks. Can't wait till this is all painted up. Jeez, this is going to be a tall coaster. Can't even get it all into frame. Even on the wide angle, it doesn't even fit. So basically what I've done is I've built the main support structure, put in a couple, cross beams, put a couple of diagonals in, and now I need to put the 2 main supports that come off the back of it down, and then obviously build out sort of the box section on each of the levels. And then after that, I think there's a couple cross braces to put in. And then once that's done, it's time to build this tool support, because that tool support will support the top of the crest of the lift. Jeez, this build is turning out so perfectly. I've just finished the first drop and the very top of the lift hill. And I've also just finished I believe it's like a dive stall, the bit where you go up, you basically do a stall upside down just before you go into the mid-course brakes, which is of course going to be like a fake splashdown element. And you probably saw it just in the background there, but there we go, the top of the lift and the full drop is done. These really tall supports that all conjoin up to this top section took me so long. There we go, I have to stretch my arm up, but hopefully you can see the good shaping of that drop there. And then of course I've just about managed tonight just to finish this stall section and get it shaped nicely and get it in place down here where it's meant to be. I definitely couldn't do super accurate supports for it, like the supports are just a bit all jank around here, but it works and it's nice and strong. Right, so I've tried to crack on as best as I can with the turnaround. It's not looking too bad, but it definitely needs a lot more work on the shaping, and I still need to obviously add the extra support that comes up here and holds this top bit here, just pins it up a bit more because it needs to be a little bit more rounded at the top, but we're getting there. So we've finished the turnaround section, looking absolutely epic. I've spray painted it white and gold on the track like I wanted to. I did put some blue tubing over here, and that was literally just to test like the clearance on that sort of bit where it goes through the structure. Obviously I've tried to copy Hyperia's actual tube supports that it has on the real ride. So yeah, the twist that goes down, it's looking pretty good, and there is plenty of space for the train to clear through there without touching any supports. Had some more parts arrive so we can carry on building. Very important parts are these straight connectors because they allow me to do the tube supports. Ignore the white track on the gold bit. I was just testing this new element. The sideways airtime hill has been completed. So now all there is to do is the final turn, the final hill and the brake run. And of course the station, wherever that's going to go. So the trains for Hyperia are just about to be released. Like any day now they're going to start testing. And obviously once they start testing, I'll know exactly what they look like so that I can paint my trains for the recreation. And once they're painted, I can take it all outside and it should be ready to film. And because that day is getting closer and closer, I need to crack on and finish the final bits of the actual layout itself. Sideways airtime hill is done, so I just need to build this final turn here and then the final airtime hill into the brakes. Brake run itself is here. It's a little bit flimsy, but once we put the supports underneath, it'll be all good. So Hyperia's trains just arrived on site, and it looks like they've got white lap bars with black seats. It looks like it's possibly going to have a bit of gold connecting the seats together, and then I don't know whether that's just because there's a lot of wrapping on there, but it looks like a white base, but it's either going to be a white or a gold base. But now I can start painting my model trains. So like I said, I've got some black and some white, and I'm going to paint these seats black with white bars. And then what I'm going to do to make my life easier is these these little Y sections that hold the seats, and then also the bases. I'm just going to reprint them, and I'm going to print them in this nice gold colour. So that way it's nice and easy and I don't have to paint them, and they'll already be gold. I cracked on with painting a black base coat on all of the seats, which I then was going to paint the bars in white afterwards. I also cracked on with printing out some gold wheel assemblies for the front of the Zero car, and then finished off printing and prepping the gold seat stands to screw into the bases. Oh, these are starting to look real nice now. Got the gold stand, the white lap bars, the black seats. It's going to look really nice. And after screwing it all together, I had my very first completed car. And this thing looked amazing. Wow, we are getting so close to finishing this train off. I've just printed off this front section here. Looks pretty good with the little rail on there. It's like a handrail. And that's the original design. But yeah, there's going to be one of these on the front of each car, so it's gonna really finish off the design. And I'm pretty sure the pads that go on top of your lap here, like the bars that you hold and then the bars to the side are white, but these are black, so I'm gonna have to repaint those bits. And after painting and gluing the final pieces in place, we had a completely finished 3D printed custom train. Now all I had to do is take it outside and film it.